Hello friends and welcome. Thank you for joining me for yet another video about my week in my journal. My name is Juliana. Many people call me G, and I like pretty paper and pretty colors. So if you like those two, you're in the right place. I've been using this format of filming my daily journal during the week, and I've been enjoying it. I hope you are too. If you're new, welcome. If you're back here from another video, thank you so much for coming back. And this is what I usually do. I ink up about maybe 8 fountain pens with different inks, different colors. And every day I pick 2 colors. And I use those 2 colors the whole day long. Every entry is a different color. So I usually change pen, either if it's like a different thought, if I'm writing about something different, or if it's a different time of the day. So sometimes I turn the planner or the journal, however you want to call it, and I sort of write in a different direction. And this is for a couple of reasons. One, because I'm very bad at smudging ink when I write. So if the ink is still wet, I don't risk my hand to go over the ink and smudge the whole thing if I'm writing in a different direction. And the second reason is because I like the pattern that it creates when you turn the page. So I've been liking this format or this way of journaling. So on top of that, sometimes I doodle, like here for the eclipses. I wrote the eclipse in Italian. I was born and raised in Italy, so my first language is Italian. So sometimes I go like from English to Italian, but I usually write in English here. So I do these doodles sometimes here and there. I like using watercolors, but I'm not using them a lot on this journal. I may start using them more later. It's just because this journal for me, it's a safe, easy space, if that makes sense. I just grab it and write down without thinking too much about it. So I want to make it as easy as possible. Sometimes, pulling up watercolor, you need water. It's just an extra step that sometimes is just too much for your daily routine. Even though I use watercolor every day, but that's a different story. Anyway, so on top of that, so I use doodles, but also stickers. Stickers are mostly from this book called the Antiquarian Sticker Books. I love the stickers. They're all vintagey and funny and weird. And I usually try to match the color of the stickers with the colors of the ink that I'm using that day. So for example, here I've been using green and this dusty pink, and so I picked that sticker that sort of matches. It doesn't have to be perfect. Sometimes it's completely perfect and it gives me joy, and other times it's okay, but it's fine anyway. So see here, I turn the page and I'm writing sidewise, I guess, I don't know, sideways. But yeah, this is what I was talking about. Okay, so I have a question for all of you. I've been using this format. Today's format day of like speeding up a bit the writing, the video, and this is because I'm working from my phone. I need to upgrade my whole equipment, but so far I'm working on my phone, and I'm limited in the length of the videos that I can upload without having issues. So it's about like less than 20 minutes, and that's why I speed it up. But let me know if you will prefer a real-time video of me writing. I can try to figure that out. I'd either like film less, or I could just upload 2 separate videos, like part 1 and part 2, and it will be okay. It will be like posted at the same time, so not a big deal. Like it won't be like you waiting for the second part of the video for a week. So let me know if that will be better. I know that sometimes I prefer seeing people doing things in real time. I don't know. Other times I'm like, I just want a quick video. So let me know what you prefer, and I can work on that. Okay, so how was your week? I hope you guys are all doing well. My week started with like everybody else. Oh, well, I'm with a Monday, which is never great, but almost. It was okay. It was very peculiar, right? Because of the eclipse, and I'm based in New York City, so we were able to see to see it all. And I have to be honest, at the beginning I was like, yeah, whatever. I don't know if I can. I'll look at it, but I'm not quite sure because I had to work at that time. But then my friends were like pushing me, like, you have to watch it, you have to watch it. And I did look at it, and it was pretty incredible. I'm very happy that I had the possibility of looking at this phenomenon. It was amazing. So back to the page. Just so I think you saw it. Like every day, I write down the day, like Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever. So this time I try to do it in a different way every time. And this time I grabbed one of those dot markers, which is just like a regular marker with a very round nib or point. And no nib, right? It's a point. I don't know. Well, you could just like make dots with it. And I tried to, I wanted to make the old Wednesday with the dot marker, but it was pretty dry and it just wasn't, and yellow. So it was very light. So it just wasn't working. So I just grabbed another pen and I went around it. But I thought it was cute anyway. That's like pretty much what I do. I go with my guts, and then I'm like, I don't like it, and I change it, and usually comes out okay, you know. That's like sort of my philosophy for journaling. It has to be like your own space where you can try and do whatever you like, and sometimes it doesn't come out so great, but who cares? It's in a page that nobody's looking at. So this Thursday came out a little cuter. I used my usual, they're like brush markers sort of thing. Let me know if you are interested in knowing like which kind of markers or pens I use. I'm happy to write it down in the description or just tell you about it. But honestly, I am a firm believer that you can use whatever you have already. You don't need to spend extreme amount of money on stationery to get your journal page pretty, you know what I mean? And then I do things that, like, I want to get all the pretty markers and all the pretty pens and I want them all. It happens sometimes, but it's really not necessary. You just need to use whatever you have, because the whole point is like to be creative on your journal however you like. So this marker that I use to write Thursday is just like sort of like a brush tip. It's softer than a usual marker, so that's good when you want to like write sort of calligraphy. I'm not great at calligraphy, but like the basic stroke, that when you go up it's thinner, when you go down it's thicker. It's easier with this sort of markers because they're like brush pens, let's say. So I use those a lot to write the days. And then I just, because the color of the marker was very different from like the marker was pinkish and the other ink that I was using was purple, so I always try to sort of match the marker to the two inks that I'm using. And that day I picked yellow and purple, and the marker that I was using was too pink. Like, it was not exactly, it was okay with those colors, it wasn't just like that close to that purple. So I decided to use the yellow ink of the other fountain pen that I was using to go over the Thursday writing. And sort of like, I feel like when I do that sort of thing, or like I add dots around the writing or whatever, like just a touch of that other color, it sort of brings everything together. And I do like that. I'm a little bit obsessed about that. What about you? Do you like use colors in your daily pages? A lot of people use black ink or blue ink, and actually I have a little surprise for you for Friday, because on Friday I decided, well, you'll see in a second, but I decided to use only black ink, even though I started with a color for the day, and then I was like, no, I want to try something different, and I use all black ink. I'll show you in a second. But yeah, what do? You use colors, or you use inks? You use one color, two colors more? I'm curious to see. I've seen a lot of different things around on YouTube. Oh, people using different colors, like different fountain pens with different inks. But I've never seen, like, the daily pages. I'm not quite sure if they use like alternating colors, maybe in the planning section more than anything else. I don't know. I'm just curious to see how it goes. And if you look at this, like, I go in the little in the little parts of the page. I like to cover almost all the page. And there's Friday, what I was talking about. So here I'm using different kind of gel pens, and they're all black ink though. I sort of wanted to figure what will work best for me, even though I already knew it, which is like this one, the one that I'm using right now. It's a Pentel Energel pen, I think. And I'm writing, this is like a sample of what I write in my daily journal. It could be some memory keeping, but most of the times I like write about colors and the ink that I'm using, the fountain pen that I'm using, or if I've done any progress with my watercolor practice, and so on and so forth. So this time I used different pens, and I wrote about the pens. So I have the tendency to like broader nibs. I like, and in fact, all my fountain pens, or most of them, are like either broad nibs or medium. I have fine nibs, but I think I changed them all to broader ones. I love stub nibs. I just like a thick writing, because it shows more the color of the ink, and I love shading. I love a good ink that shades in a beautiful way. I really, really enjoy that. So with broader nibs that come out in a, not better, but like you can see more the shading. If you use a fine nib, you can see it depending on the ink, but it's not that evident like if you use a broader nib. So that's my tendency usually. And the same is for pens that are not fountain pens, so like gel pens or ballpoint pens. I do enjoy a thicker line, but it also depends on what I'm doing and what I'm writing for, like if I'm journaling or if I'm just planning or if I'm just taking notes. It really depends on. Sometimes a very thick nib, when you're taking notes, it might not be the best because the writing may not be like that clear. With a thinner nib, it's easier to write. Even if you're writing very quickly, it's just easier to reread it than later, right? So the nibs that I'm using here, or a list of pens, because these are all gel pens, are different kind of nibs, different sizes. So I'm sort of like testing what I like better. And the very thickest one that I have there, it's one that I realize I use less for writing and more for doodling, because it just gives a better, I think it looks better for doodles than for writing, for the same reason that I just said. Because I use gel pens for planning, and the reason, this is the one I'm using right now, this yellow one, is one of my favorite for taking notes and for planning, and it's a very thin one, but I like the way it writes and the way the ink shows. It's very intense. Even if it's thin, you can see the black coming out, like popping up from the page. And the one that I'm using now is the one that I use more for doodling. But yeah, I was saying that when I plan, which is mostly in the monthly and weekly section of my Hobonichi, but I also have another little planner for other things. I use gel pens. I don't tend to use fountain pens, and this is just because, again, I'm very bad at smudging, and when I plan, I go from a day to another. I go pretty quickly because I just note down everything I have to do that week, for example. Actually, let me know if you will be interested in seeing some videos about me planning the week or the month. I will be happy to share that too. I'm just starting, and I'm not sure what people want to see. But I do use a lot the monthly and the weekly section of the Hobonichi too. So with fountain pens, you have to wait for a second for the ink to dry up. It's not a lot, but it's that extra second that I usually don't have when I plan, because it's really, my planning is very functional. So I go up and down during the day, I remember what I have to do, and I just note it down. And my memory is very bad. So whenever I remember something, I have to note it down immediately. And so that's why I use gel pens or ballpoint pens that dry up right away. So, and believe me, I'm able to smudge even gel pens. So there's a quick flip through. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what you think, what you prefer, and I hope you have a lovely day and a lovely week, and I'll see you next week.